Survivor Specialist Phil and Will are back for our last Survivor 33 preseason podcast, which means next week is Survivor Season 33.
The premiere.
The premiere. So you just got to get through today. We try to mix it up a little bit. It's always this one's always like the hardest for us to come up with something to do because like we have the fantasy game, we have the boot list, we have the prop bet, we have the cast assessment. So we're going to do power rankings this time, but we're not going to do real power rankings. Like this isn't power rankings in terms of like it's not going to count towards our score for the year. It's not really going to matter. This is just an order of like who do you think has the best chance to win and who do you think has the worst chance to win from 20 to 1, worst chance to best chance. We're going to break them up into like tiers and we're going to really like dive into this one last time before all of you get tired of hearing us talk about it, because next week the show starts and then there's no more speculation and it just goes.
Exactly. Last season we did like a really random podcast. We like ranked twists, I think, and I don't think that many people watched it. I think we're kind of, we kind of do our best podcast like right away when the cast is announced. Like the first thing we do is our cast assessment, which is always fun because we just make fun of people that we don't know. And then we have like our fantasy games, we can win a buff, and we kind of trickle down. So maybe we need to kind of reformat our preseason podcasting, although it is good to get those buff videos out there early so that we get maximum entries. And I'm bringing this up so I can say, now, if you have not entered the Bootless Challenge or the Prop Bet game, two really fun games, the links are in the description. You can win a buff. You just have to follow the rules. So check those videos out if you haven't already. I'm sure most people listening have already – their entries for the buff. But there's 3 buffs up for grabs.
What are we setting the deadline at? Just so everybody knows, so there's no confusion. We got to set a deadline. What's the deadline?
Oh, the deadline's always the same. It's at what?
7:59 Eastern?
Yeah, it's whenever the premiere airs. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Other time zones, that's how. Yeah, it's when you can't enter the contest after the game has started. That would not be fair.
Yeah, so you can't change anything. We're going to have it all up. We're going to be all good to go. So, yeah. So that'll be good. We'll get all those like organized so that we can actually get you guys like some scores after the premiere too. But we got to get the cast.
It probably won't be right after.
No.
Probably won't be right after the premiere.
No, because it seems like we have a lot of entries in both. You know how many entries we have in both? Yeah. I know you normally keep track of that. I keep track of our stuff. You keep track of the fans stuff.
Oh, I have not looked in some time, but I do tend to get tons of emails throughout the day about comments, and those 2 videos do get a lot of comments. So
it's gonna be a long weekend, man.
I think I saw one of them had like 100 comments on it. I don't know; those probably aren't all entries, but they're definitely up there.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Boot list.
Yeah, 115 comments for the boot list. Come on, internet. We have. Oh man,
this is going well.
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm cutting out right now.
No, you're fine. That's so the shocking part.
Oh, we have 108 on the prop bet. Wow, the prop bet's more fun, and you can win 2 buffs. I'm surprised there aren't more entries there. So
it's too difficult sometimes. The boot list is simple. Yeah. It takes you 3 seconds to think about it. You just make a list.
Okay. Well, enough talk about our other videos. Let's get going on these power rankings. We'll start with the bottom tier. 5. We'll do 4 tiers. The 5 castaways who are least likely to win this game. And this is also going to be fun to look back on when, the winner is 100% going to be in the bottom 5. That's just how it ends up. So this will be fun. I'll start with you, Phil. Who is 20 for you? Who has no shot at winning this game?
Simple, Paul. People like Paul don't win. Even if Paul comes out here and is the most likable guy in the entire face of the earth, he's still not going to win. Big Tom was insanely likable. He didn't win. They've been looking for Big Tom since Big Tom. Keith came around. Keith didn't win, and he was insanely. Even if Paul's the most likable guy in the world, he's not going to win. People like him never, ever, ever, ever win Survivor. Never have, never will.
He is also the person I have at 20, and I think that he won't be that liked. I think he'll be pretty much disliked by everybody. But like you said, even if I'm wrong about that, he can only go one of 2 ways. He's going to be either really annoying or he's going to be like super lovable teddy bear father guy. And neither of those type of people win. So I'm with you. I got Paul all the way at 20.
Yeah, and I think that's an easy 20. Like, I'd be surprised if a lot of people don't think that he has the least amount of chance to win this game.
Right. Okay. At 19, I'll go. We might kind of follow a same pattern here. I'm going to go Sunday. And this is different than I like how we're doing not power rankings in terms of who's we think is going to get voted out in the premiere, but in terms of who can win. She's going to be one of those players that either gets dragged to the end as a GOAT or someone that just gets picked off early. I'm pretty sure Sunday is not winning this game. She could go far, but she won't win.
Yeah, we have the same top two. I mean, this is the same. Think about it. Like, Sunday's not going to come out and be Denise. And if you think about it, older women on this show, like, who are like Sunday, like Dawn. Dawn, like, she should – there's no reason she shouldn't win Survivor, and she didn't get one vote against Cochran. She didn't get one vote against
she didn't play that badly of a game out there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, people like Sunday, it's just like the same thing with Paul. Even if they're insanely likable, for some reason they just don't get the votes. Look at Holly Hoffman back in Nicaragua. I know she didn't make it to the end with the chance to get the votes, but, like, she made it somehow through that game and still ends up getting, fourth place. Like, they just don't win the game. There's something about it where, like, these two types of, like, I don't know. It's not like stereotype. I forget what. Well, I can't think of the word, but, like, they just don't win. Character. They just don't win.
Yeah. You can look at Lisa in Philippines as someone like that who doesn't win. We see this person a lot, and they don't win.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you have at we might have an identical list. That would be pretty crazy. Who do you have at 17?
Well, I have to do 18 first because, in
18.
In this podcast, we go 2019, 18. Some podcasts go 2019, 17. We go 2019, 18. I'm not going to lie. There's not really much organized here with me right now. So, like, I'm kind of like when my bottom five, I'm not – now that I know it's like tiers, like the bottom five is actually harder than like the top five, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I have one more in here that feel pretty strongly about, and I've said this before. I think Lucy is not cut out for this game. Man, watch her win because I've been so hard on Lucy all throughout this preseason, but I don't see Lucy winning. The only way she wins is if she pulls off like a Vesepia type win, because Vesepia was kind of got along with everybody and made little moves here and there and kind of maneuvered in the middle. But I don't think Lucy has that in her. I don't see what type of player like her wins. And she seems really kind of bossy. I just get really bad vibes from her. I've said this before, so I don't want to continue repeating myself. What do you think, Phil?
Lucy, I'm just going to try to mix it up a little bit so that we don't have the same exact thing for our bottom five.
I don't think we need to even like rank them number by number. I like the tiers idea. So
let's
agree on 5.
Though, just in case, like, if Lucy does win, at least you had her at 18. Like, yeah, she was in your bottom tier, but, like, you had her at 18 as opposed to Paul, who you had at 20. If Paul wins, which we both had Aubrey at 18 last year, like, I don't know. I might have said Aubrey had the least amount of chance to win. I'm sure there would have been other people if we did it this way that I would have said had less of a chance to win than Aubrey, but, like, Aubrey was pretty darn close to the bottom.
But she didn't win. She didn't win, so we don't have to worry about it.
I'm just saying, she ended up being a real player.
We should write a letter to her and apologize.
We should. I mean, that season, man, what a weird season. All right, I'm actually going to put at 18 on my fantasy team, 0 chance to win, though, I really believe. I'm going Hannah. I don't see how Hannah ever wins the game. Do I think that Hannah could be second place or third place or even, like, fourth place and, like, be a really likable fourth place who could have won if she got to the end? I do think that she could pull that off, but I just don't – she never wins. Like, that type of player just never wins where it's, like, all sarcasm, all wit, all, like, not really any physical anything. Might be really social, but, like, Courtney Yates was probably the closest there to winning. I guess you could call Tyson the winner, but he played 3 times. Like, Courtney Yates was, like, the closest of, like, this type of thing to win, and she still lost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see her winning. I just can't see a world where Hannah wins the game.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with the whole, like, snarky, sarcastic bit. But she did say she was, like, the love child of Cochran and Sophie. And I think Sophie and Hannah do have some similarities.
That's true. I should have probably taken that more into account.
And Sophie won the game by everyone called her a brat. Like during the game, they called her a spoiled brat. Like she was a college student, wasn't working at the time. And she still won somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to discredit Sophie, but even if people aren't totally on board with the way you're playing the game or on board with your personality, if you get to the end sitting next to the right people and have done the right moves, and you need a kind of a favorable jury who's going to look at your game, which this jury can very well do. I don't know. I wouldn't put Hannah in my bottom tier.
Really?
I think we could probably bump her up a tier.
I mean,
I don't have her in my top.
I like Hannah.
10.
I do like Hannah. But, like, I just don't see a world where she ends up pulling it out. Like, I just don't see a world where
aren't there other people that are less likely to win than Hannah?
No, because, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to put Lucy at 17. And the reason I put Lucy just ahead of Hannah is because I could see Lucy, like you said, as, like, the Vesepia type where, like, there's not really much happening. And then she wins the game, which I guess Sunday could almost be like a Vesepia type. I guess if you're going to look at like somebody very religious, all that. But Vesepia also had like a badass side to her that I don't think Sunday has. I'll put Lucy just a little bit ahead of Hannah because like I could see Lucy getting to the end and getting a vote like if she made it there. Like Hannah, I worry wouldn't get the votes. And you got to also remember, Sophie sat against Coach and Albert. Nobody liked either of them either. So like, yeah, Sophie's like a brat and this and that. But like, she's sitting against Coach and Albert. Nobody liked Coach or Albert. So, like, it just really does depend on who you sit next to, but I just don't see a world where Hannah wins. I don't see a world where Lucy wins either. That's why I'm putting them both in my bottom tier, but I'll give Lucy a little bit of an edge.
I don't know. If to pick someone like Hannah and say, I don't think she can win, she's a super fan. She knows the game very well, and I never write off super fans just because they go in with kind of a plan, and it will fall apart, but at least they know the big do's and don'ts. Like, don't be the leader. Don't boss people around. Don't flip too early. Like, those things which many people mess up because they just don't know the game well enough. She hits all those. So the only reason that I see there's a big problem with her is she's probably not the strongest physically, which will hurt her early. And then maybe she would be kind of too likable or playing too hard later in the game. But those two things don't make me want to put her in the bottom tier. I don't really like going by this whole number to number thing. I kind of like the tiers and having us talk it out and agree and come up to like a consensus bottom 5. I think that's more interesting discussion. So, no. Okay. Well, I think wrong.
I think we can talk it out and like maybe come up, but I think we should each have our own 5. But I don't think I need to sit here and agree with you because I'm not going to.
I'm not saying, we do consensus rankings a lot, and I think it is fine. Like, instead of Hannah, I'll say, let's bump Hannah up to, 14th or 15th or whatever. Because I think there are people that can't win it. Like Ken. Ken is next on my list. I think Ken has a very, very small chance of winning this game. The good-looking, strong guy can never really win. I mean, Colby lost against Tina in season 2. There's never been that, like, stud. Malcolm hasn't won. Ozzy hasn't won. JT is probably the only example of someone who has done this, which he somehow convinced everyone that he's like Jesus or something. Mm-hmm. Ken also has a weird vibe to him also. I don't know if you picked this up, but just he has that kind of untrustworthy presence about him, and that could just be coming through preseason. Maybe he is super likable, but again, if he is super likable, then how does he get to the end and win? I think Ken's chances are so low.
See, I'm not going to put Ken here. And, like, I think, like, we can talk it out and, like, say this, but I think it's more fun if we each have our own little list. This way, like, when it comes time to it, it's always fun to just be like, well, remember that time that you put Ken at 17 and, like, Ken won? And, like, I can feel a little bit better about myself because I didn't give him a 0% chance to win. Not that I'm saying you're giving him 0%, but I didn't put him in my bottom tier. So, like, it makes me feel a little
Well, no, we should stick to it then. All right, fine. Then let's say you have to pick 5 people that have 0% chance winning the game. All right, we'll make this a little more interesting. I like this. Okay. To pick 5 people that have 0%, and if one of them ends up winning, the other player gets like plus 10 fantasy points.
Plus 10 fantasy points? We could do that. Like plus $10, plus 10 fantasy points. I think plus 10 fantasy points like works.
Is that fair? I don't know our scale of scoring.
Maybe plus 5. Plus 10 might be overkill.
All right.
So plus 5.
Plus 5.
If someone from your bottom tier wins. Like if from the opposite person's bottom tier wins. So like I would get 5 points.
Right. I think we might. Right. I think we might have to up it to 10 though, just because at the end that could be huge. This is important. You're picking 5 people who you know can't win.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do 10 then, because screw it. I mean, yeah, let's do 10 because I'm confident. I'll say my number 16. I got Will Wall. Will will never win because these people are not going to hand an 18-year-old high school student $1 million. I don't give a shit how good he plays. It's just not going to happen. He is not going to be handed $1 million because he's 18. Like, and I hate saying that, but like, there is no way. I would never hand a high schooler $1 million. Screw him. Go get it yourself. I'm not giving him $1 million. Not happening. And I'd be jealous. It's like the whole envious jealous thing. I'm not giving him $1 million. I didn't have $1 million in high school. He doesn't get $1 million in high school. Will Wall will never win this game, no matter how good he plays, and he could be fantastic. 16th place, Will Wall.
Okay, actually, I think that's a really good pick. I don't want to take it now, because now we're having points on it. That would be kind of lame. So I already have
because then we'd be 4 for 4.
Paul. Yeah, we needed Paul and Sunday are kind of the freebies, and we should have 3 different people each. So I have Ken, Lucy already. You should probably find someone new.
I'll put Rachel there.
Okay, that was going to be my next, but
well, you don't get the user. Pick somebody else.
Okay. I'm going to go with no chance of winning this game. I think if he somehow figures out Survivor, if he can figure out Survivor and then get to the end, I don't think he gets to the end. I really don't. It's like Steven Fishbach even lost. He got shut out. He would be like a neurotic strategic type. Spencer doesn't win. Steven doesn't win. I think like Cochran wins. That's the TV writer. But he wasn't a TV writer yet.
And it was the second time. The first time he would – I think David Wright's going to play more like Cochran the first time, where you're more scared than anything else. And then as you start to figure it out, it's just too late and everybody hates you. Because everybody hated Cochran in that first season. What?
I went out there or you went out there. I don't know.
I
went out there, I think.
It doesn't matter. David Wright, though, all I was saying is that David Wright, I feel like he's going to play more like Cochran did the first season, where if he does figure it out, he's going to figure it out to the point where everybody just hates him. And then it'll just be too late for him. Are you there?
Right.
I think you're there. Okay, there you are. So just for anybody who's wondering, I go Paul, Sunday, Hannah, Rachel, Will instead of Lucy there. I'm going to put Lucy at 15, though, because I wanted to put her in my 0% chance to win. But I'll give Will that one. I'll put Lucy as – so what are we calling this next tier?
I can't hear anything you're saying, so you can just keep talking.
I think either you're getting really awful or I'm getting really awful. What are we calling this next tier?
It's probably all my fault. This is the – and then, most likely.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing you're saying. Did Doug just, did somebody just, walk in your apartment? Is that what happened? Well, this is the last – oh, is he back? Is he back? I'm
back. I have no idea what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on. It's got to be somebody just started using your Wi-Fi in your apartment. Has to be. Anyway, I'll just keep on talking because that's what I do best anyway. I think Will has completely – I think Will – there must be a thunderstorm in West Hollywood right now. Will is disappearing. He's turning into a pixelated mess. I don't really know what's going on. It is our last preseason podcast. At least this isn't happening on the premiere podcast. Pretty sure somebody just walked in.
Well, it could happen.
It could. I don't really know what's going on. What did you want to call this other tier? Can you hear me?
It's a, not very likely tier. Everyone knows the tiers. It's tier 3. You have tier 1 are the winners or the probable winners. Tier 2 is contenders. Tier 3 is tier 4, no shot.
All right, well, I'm starting mine with Lucy because I wanted to put her in my bottom tier, but I have to put her here due to a rules change. So Lucy's my number 15, which is lame and boring because I already talked about her, but she's my number 15.
Well, you should keep talking. You might want to go right through 20.
Why? You're coming through now. Not well.
Barely.
Yeah.
I can barely hear you, Phil. This is bad. I'm trying to do everything I can to fix it.
I mean, I can hear you.
All right, fine. Will Wall at 15, just because I wanted to put him in my bottom 5, but we kind of switched with Lucy and Will. So if either of those people win and there's 10 points and that swings the fantasy game, that's a little lame. But hey, it could happen.
That would be a little lame. That'd be a little BS. But yeah, so we talked about both of them. I mean, now it starts getting to like people who could win. And I'm going to go and I'm going to say number 14. I mean, we haven't used all the same people yet, so we're obviously both a little bit different wavelengths. I am going to put David Wright at 14. It's going to take so much for him to win. And, like, he's just going to come across – I think you said it perfectly. He's going to come across, like, too neurotic. He's going to be, like, a little too worried. And if he does figure it out, like, that means he's going to be too likable and they're going to get rid of him. Like, Cochran wasn't liked on his season, like, at all, like, the first time. The fans liked him, but the people on the show did not like him. And I think, like, that gets misunderstood. Like, he would not have won had he made it to the end because people just did not like him. And I feel like that's how David's going to come across. But if he figures it out well enough, he'd come back a second time and he could easily win the game. It's just like the first time he's going to be over his head. So I'll say he could win, but it's not very likely.
Got it. I hear you. I mean, I already talked about David. I don't think he has a really good shot at winning. Really, really think it's low. Have I used Rachel yet? I don't think I have, but you did.
No. Yeah.
Okay. That's another person I wanted to put down early. This is pretty easy. I don't think Rachel wins this game. She doesn't seem like she has the brain for it. Not to call her dumb, but you need a specific survivor brain in order to win. I don't think it's above her shoulders.
Gotcha, dude. A little harsh, but I guess it could work. Man, I'm like really into the like the nitty gritty.
So now we're getting into it. So
now we're getting into like people who like really could like. I mean, I didn't want to do this because like we are knocking off like the same people, but like I'm gonna go Ken.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ken at 13 because like how does Ken win this game? Like Nick could win the game last season, and Nick was the same guy as Ken, maybe a little bit less weird, but like Ken obviously has like a little bit more of a backstory, but like I just don't see where Ken. I mean, if he is well liked, that means that Ken's gonna go out there and he's going to have like he's gonna be able to tell the story about his kid and like how he lived on his own,
be a triple
all this
threat.
stuff, but he's just not gonna win. Exactly. Like he's not gonna nobody's gonna let him get to the end and like be good looking, have a great backstory, and like have played a good game. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, you can't be a physical threat and a social threat and then be a strategic threat to keep yourself in the game that long. I mean, if you're all three of those things, you're not going to make it that far unless you're really, really good. When you hide it, and that's when we see people like Kim just dominate the season.
Yeah.
I don't think Ken's the next Kim.
No, me either. Who do you got at 13 then?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go Zeke here. He's too big of a personality. Like, I know Tony won. He was all over the place, but Zeke seems like he's a big personality and he tries to be a big personality. Tony, I think, was just purely authentic, just loved the game, playing as hard as he can. I think Zeke likes the attention, and people like that don't win. You can't be the guy who's like the star of the season, like Ty or Rupert. Those people don't win. I think it'll be a star. I think it'll be fun to watch. You're not getting the votes at the end.
This is a really good point. Has there ever been like a huge star who's actually won, like the big star of the season other than Tony, who's actually won that season?
Johnny Fairplay came very close.
And like you could almost say JT, but Coach was the star of that season.
Yeah, Coach was the big, like, fun character.
Yeah.
I mean, JT was really well liked, but I'm talking about like screen grabbing, comes back to play 5 times.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them have ever won.
Yeah, and again, Tony's an exception because he wasn't like the craziest personality. He was crazy with his gameplay. Like he was crazy by building spy shacks, running everywhere for idols, like just pure dedication to winning the game of Survivor, and it worked. And he obviously has a fun personality, but I mean, on that season, Cass is up there with like one of like the crazier personalities that fans, love to hate. So yeah, I don't think Zeke. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeke wins, but I'm definitely putting him in this kind of second to lower tier.
Well, I mean, you kind of convinced me. I'm going to go Zeke at 12 because I don't think any of those people have ever won. And this is another person. He's on my fantasy team, much like Hannah. Like he could go very far and he could be very well liked, but like you just said everything you need to say about Zeke's chances of winning the game. Like none of the big personalities really ever pull it out. Like it just never happens. Like there's always the big personality that's the game threat, and then there's the big personality that is hogging all the airtime. And the one that hogs all the airtime never wins. It just doesn't happen.
It's true. It's true. Okay. Next, I'm going to go. I'm so surprised you haven't said this person yet.
Michelle?
Yes, Michelle is next. The only reason I know I haven't said her, just because we don't know that much about her. So she could be really good. We just, like you said, she was so boring in her cast video. She seemed like she wanted to play the game. She said villains have more fun. I believe that was her. When you go in with that mindset, it just kind of, I don't know, flag goes up in my mind. Like, no, you're not winning. Like you can be a villain, but don't go out wanting to be the villain. If the situation on the island like requires you to like do some villainous actions, that's fine, right? Like do what you need to survive, do what you need to do to get votes and stay in the game and all this stuff. But don't go in like, I can't wait to backstab people. I can't wait to lie. Like that's not the mentality. That's what Russell's mentality was. And yeah, he did all those things, and then he lost to Natalie White, who pretty much did nothing. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm not putting Michelle yet, though. That's right, everybody. Michelle is going to at least be in my top 10 chances to win. How's that feel?
Wow.
I know.
I just wanted to get to her before you did, just to kind of surprise you.
And I'm not using her next. I'm going to say Taylor at number 11.
Wow.
Because Taylor comes into this game, and really think about this. Taylor comes into this game. Jay is a little more Fabio than Taylor is, I think. Other than Fabio, who like Fabio has ever won this game? Taylor doesn't come across as like an Aris. He doesn't come across as, at least to me, he's not screaming Fabio. He's not really much like a Tyson. Who does he remind you of that's won the game? And
what about
he reminds me of
JT?
so many. He doesn't remind me. I don't know. I don't get a JT vibe.
Just because JT worked on a farm and this guy's a snowboarder, like those are two very different, lifestyles. But you can have similar personalities and stuff.
JT was so insanely smart, though. And JT doesn't get as much credit as he should for being so smart because of the stupid thing that happened in Heroes vs. Villains. JT, not only was he likable, he was like brilliant. Like Steven gets a lot of the credit for Tocantins, but like JT was fantastic at what he did. Like JT knew what was going on at all times. He always had his finger on the pulse. I'm not getting that from Taylor. And my thing with Taylor is people like him are bound for like 5th place or 4th place or 6th. Like they're bound to just not even get a chance to sit at the end unless they're a huge villain. Like I just don't see him making it there. I mean, he's the most likely out of my least likely to get there, but like I just don't see it happening for him. I just don't see it.
Okay. No, I mean, I hear you. I think that he very well likely get that 4, 5, 6 spot, that Malcolm spot, that Spencer spot in Cagayan. Could happen. So where am I now?
You're at 11. This is your last.
Okay. I haven't said Hannah yet, and I'll put Hannah here because I don't think she's in my top 10, but she definitely could slip into it. I haven't used Hannah yet, right? Just making sure. Yeah, like I said, she could pull kind of a Sophie, kind of be the younger, snarky lady that, just kind of finds her way at final 5, final 6 with some, not too threatening people around her. I mean, like we're saying, all these people we really like at the bottom, like even Paul, we said, wow, he could be super likable. He's going to get voted out if he is likable. So she might find herself, with some pretty easy people to beat.
All right. I mean, I could see that happening with Hannah. Really, like for my like Taylor, I could still see winning the game. It's just like we have to rank them at this point, and like since we're doing the tiers, like yeah, I had to put somebody there, and like I think all like even Zeke has a chance to win, like a legitimate chance to win. Like other than like really Paul and Sunday, like I think anybody else could win. It's just like you got to kind of like I'm trying to put some order to the madness. Like I'm trying, but like I really like.
You seem really confused right now. You seem really just kind of at war with your own brain.
I am because I like the 10 people left. I don't know who necessarily has less of a chance than somebody else. I mean, and first of all, I like 9 out of the 10 people left. You know, because Michelle's still there. Michelle is still there. I'm gonna go Jessica Lewis here.
Ooh, brutal.
Well, it's not that brutal. I like her. She's on my fantasy team.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Most of my fantasy team is already gone. I mean, I
shows you how good of a team you picked, right?
Exactly. I had Hannah. I had David. I picked Jessica Lewis. I picked Zeke. Look at this. I mean, I'm killing it right now. The thing with Jessica Lewis is like, I worry for her. One, because she's coming to the game and she's a district attorney, right? Right? Somebody.
Sure.
I'm trying to find it. Assistant district attorney. Okay.
Assistant.
Okay. But anyway, I worry that she could be the nicest person in the world. I just worry that whatever she has to do to get further in the game could be seen as bitchy because she's a little bit older. She's an attorney. She's got that mindset. And like a lot of times you look at it where like the younger guys and the younger girls can get away with more than the older guys and the older girls can in terms of being like, well, not even the older guys. The older guys can get away with a lot of stuff. But like they can get away with more in terms of like being a little more cutthroat. You know, somebody like Michelle is getting yelled at because she wasn't cutthroat enough, and then somebody like Cass is getting yelled at because she's too cutthroat. You know what I mean? And like if Michelle would have made the same moves as Cass, people might have been like, hey, good for you, you played the game. So, like, I just worry for Jessica Lewis that, like, it could just hurt her because of her profession and because she's starting off on the Gen X tribe and because I think the Gen X tribe's in trouble. And, like, that could all just come back to haunt her, and it's going to be a really hard battle for her to win the game and still keep her relationships positive.
I agree with – I actually have Jessica here too. I think it's all about Jessica's start game. If Gen X really takes a tumble, and I don't know if she'll be able to recover quickly if she loses her footing. She doesn't seem like she's the one who can squirm out when her back's against the wall. Like I could see her getting voted out of a tribe swap very early. But if she becomes one of these like loyal alliance members that hangs around, doesn't make enemies, flips when she needs to late, maybe wins an immunity here or there, finds an idol, like that's enough to win. When you vote out the likable people, I'm not saying she isn't likable, when you vote out the real threats that are really in control of the game, get those people out, all you need to do is really just kind of do what Michelle did, really. I mean, don't piss people off, make relationships, and it seems like that's something Jessica could very well do. It's not easy to do, though. That's the only caveat with her. Like, that's very difficult to do. She could do it, though.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that I just feel like she comes into the game fighting an uphill battle. We talked about this when we did our worst people to ever make the Survivor finale. And we said, like, you know, somebody like Denise comes into the game as a lunch lady. She's already got, like, an underdog story. Jessica Lewis is coming into the game as an assistant district attorney. Most people are just going to hear district attorney, and they're going to say, oh, screw this. She thinks she's better than us. That doesn't mean that that's actually what she does, but the perception out there could just be that, and it could put her behind the 8 ball initially, and then, right, you know, it could just work against her. I hope it doesn't, but it could. So that's why I had her at 10. Do you want to do your 9 first? Because, like, I've been going first every time, so I don't know if you want to jump me here.
Okay, my 9, I have Brett.
God, dude, I have Brett. I'm not kidding.
I mean, it's the filling little brain. It morphs into one sometimes. We see this often.
Because we talked about it for 4 straight weeks.
You're right. Brett is, I think, kind of lay your cards on the table kind of guy. Like, he's going to tell you how it is. He's going to be himself. And either way he goes, if he kind of gets on people's nerves, that's not good. And if people like him, it's not good. I know I keep using the same argument, like if people like him. But Brett is really out there. He's just very polarizing right when you hear his voice, right when you I haven't talked to him or met with him, but it seems like people are going to gravitate towards him or away from him. He's not going to be able to hang out and kind of play the middle like we see so many winners do. That being said, he is strong. He's going to stick around the game for a while. He seems like he's really smart. If he can find an idol and make a solid alliance, I think he has a good shot to actually win if he gets to the final 3. I just think that's going to be the difficult part. Like getting from 6 to 3 is going to be so hard for someone like Brett.
I agree. I think you pretty much said everything I feel about Brett. Initially, when Brett came out, I was like, Brett's gonna win this game. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, it's the same thing with Jessica Lewis. How is he gonna get there? Because like when you're looking at it in terms of who has the best chance to win, you have to think of who could sit at the final 3 and beat anybody, but also who can get there. Like that, like is one of the big, differing factors. It's gonna be so hard for Brett to get.
You know who could never get there?
Who?
Eliza. Okay. There you go. Never get the votes.
There you go. Like, Brett cannot get there. Like, Brett it's just not going to.
Well, we have him in the likely. I don't think he can't. I just know it's going to be hard for someone like Brett. He's too top
it's not going to be a smooth, it's not going to be a smooth path. If he's going to get there, he's going to have to earn his way there. He's not going to be dragged there. Like I could be completely right with Michelle, and Michelle could get dragged all the way to the end. I could be completely wrong with somebody like who have I been saying this whole time? I know I've been on Figgy. I'm trying to find a guy that I've been like high on that I could see being dragged. Anyway, Will Wall could get dragged to the end of the game. Doesn't mean he's going to win. Nobody's going to drag Brett to the end of the game. Even like the loudmouth people like Judd and Boo and like from those seasons, like they still didn't make it to the end of the game because people still sat there and said he could win this. We can't drag him to the end. Here's 5th place. See you later. And I feel like that could happen to Brett very easily.
In total agreement.
So do you want to do number 8, or you think we're just going to have the same people still? I mean, I still haven't used Michelle. You still haven't used Taylor. So do you want to do number 8?
I will. Let's see. I'll take a stab at number. I think I'm really close to being out of Gen Xers. I've used Lucy, Paul, Rachel, Sunday, David, Jessica, and Ken. So
I only have 2 left.
So I only have 2 left, and we have the same 2. Mm-hmm. Both of them are actually in my top 5. So, yeah, I'm actually going to have to go Michaela here. And I really like Michaela, and I think she has a chance to win. It's just we've talked about this enough. It's going to be really tough for her early on. Fitting in with that millennial tribe. And then even if she does make a swap or merge, I don't know. I just don't know if she'll be able to really make the relationships necessary to get all the jury votes at the end, or enough jury votes at the end.
Yeah, I actually I'm not gonna say where I have Michaela yet because I don't know where I have Michaela yet because
exactly
we're kind of still doing this. But like, I think Michaela's got a pretty good shot. Like,
yeah,
I
have her. I have her at 8.
Like, you still have her at 8. Like, I'm not like obviously all these people we have left, we put some thought into like wow they actually could win the game. Otherwise, they still wouldn't be sitting here because there's people behind them that I think could still win the game. I think Michaela's actually could be all right on that tribe. Like, I think she's going to be able to play a nice balance at first, and if there's a swap, which there always is, I think she also fits in very well with the Gen X people. So I think I like Michaela's shot. I really do. My number 8, once again, let's just pick off my fantasy team as fast as we can. I'm going Jay. And the reason I say Jay is it's the same kind of like similar arguments to what I did with Taylor. Fabio won, but like guys like Jay just don't win. They finish 4th or 5th or 10th. They don't win the game. And Jay could easily come out and be like, maybe not as dumb, but he could be like Jason from Micronesia easily and just get booted because he doesn't really know what's going on. And if he does know what's going on, people aren't going to want to sit next to him at the end of the game. So, like, people mistakenly thought Fabio didn't know what was going on, but he knew exactly what he was doing, But when people can see through it, with somebody like Malcolm, even Denise was like, I can't sit next to Malcolm at the end. I'll lose. Like, you just get rid of those people. So I don't think Jay has a very good chance to win, but I'm not going to sit here and say Jay's a favorite to win the game.
Right. I'll get to Jay later. Get to Jay later.
Sounds good.
So I'm at 7 now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with our boy here, Adam Klein. I think he has a chance to win. That's why he's in my top 7. but he seems like we have look at the males we have on the Millennial tribe. We have Adam along with Jay, Taylor, Will, all just really young. And I think Adam, just from the videos, I think he seems like the smartest person out of those. Like Taylor and Jay are kind of surfer dude, kind of bro-y. Adam seems more book smart. He's a Survivor nerd, as he said. He, I think, will be most like Spencer. And I think that will be threatening to people, whether you're Gen X or you're a millennial, like someone who is studies Survivor, who loves the game. He's also looks very physically fit and capable in the game. So I think he's the biggest threat out of those four guys. And then Will, we have Will in high school. Like you said, I think he made a really good argument. Like no matter what he does, people aren't going to give him $1 million. Like I completely agree with that. That's why Will's so low. But Adam, I think he sticks out. He sticks above the rest, and that will ultimately hurt him. If he hides that though, then he can win.
Adam reminds me of like an old school type of player. Like he almost reminds me of I'm a huge fan, Brian Corridan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I thought you were gonna say that. Yeah,
love Brian Corridan. That's what Adam reminds me of. Where I'm so scared that people are just gonna be like, God, this guy knows the game. Like, God, that's good. Nowadays on this tribe, it might be a little bit easier to manipulate some of these people, but he would have to align with the right people and be able to manipulate the right people because people are really like somebody like Marie. He's not going to be able to manipulate Marie. But if he can align with Marie, and then they can, I'm butchering her name, whatever.
Mari. I don't know. I can't wait till the show starts so I can.
And then like if he can align with Mari and then manipulate somebody like a Jay or manipulate somebody like a Will Wall, then he could do very well. But if he's aligned with the wrong people off the bat, he's almost going to fall into like a Spencer situation or a Brian Corridan situation where it's like, I can't get going. Like I need to get going. And even Malcolm just can't get going. I know the game. I love the game. I just can't get going. And he could hang around a really long time.
Yeah. I mean, Malcolm and Spencer both, Malcolm and Spencer both couldn't get going and then both got fourth place.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He could still do very well and make it all the way to fourth place. He could still win the thing. That's why I haven't used him yet. My number 7, I'm going CC. I like CC a lot. I just hope that CC doesn't like the 3 words to describe yourself: outgoing, strong-minded, goal setter. Strong-minded doesn't always work on Survivor, but I think she's smart enough to know when to be strong-minded and when to keep her mouth shut. She's also on a tribe with a lot of loudmouths, which I think could really help her because she's going to kind of be able to take a little bit of a back seat, while also I think she can still pull the strings over there. I really like CC. Obviously, she's like my second favorite on that tribe. Maybe not my second favorite, but like I think she has like the second best chance from that tribe to actually pull it off, which isn't very good for that tribe because I have her at 7th place. So either we're really wrong on the Gen Xers or the Gen Xers are really in trouble coming into this game.
Right.
I will now.
Do you want me to go?
Well, I'm going to go, and I'm going to give my reasoning on this. I'm going to go. And at number 6, I'm finally going to say Michelle. I didn't quite put her in my top 5, but the reason I'm putting her at number 6, and this is just how good, like you guys who are listening to me, this is how good I am at predicting shit. Last year, I said Aubrey was going to get last place. Aubrey got 2nd and almost won the game. Some people believe she played better than Michelle. You're wrong. I said Tony had a 0% chance to win the game before Tony went out there and absolutely dominated. Just absolutely like obliterated that season. With Worlds Apart, I liked Mike. I thought Jen Brown was going to win that season. So I am kind of sitting here saying, you know what? All these people I'm super low on for some reason just keep on sneaking on up. So Michelle actually jumps very high because of my dislike of her. So Michelle, you have like the best chance to win the game right now because I'm putting you in my bottom spot in almost everything. So in this, I'm putting you in number 6.
There you
go.
Prove this guy right. Yeah, that's how you play. You gotta mix it around. I like it, Phil. If she ends up winning, this would be fun to replay. It really would.
It would. I mean, because I'm an idiot. That's why she won. Like at this point, I'm convinced. So
I just still know it's not possible for there to be a back-to-back Michelle win. That can't happen.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
I have Taylor as my brink I think he can win, but I tend to agree with what you're saying. Just like he's bound for 5th or 4th place. But when Spencer got 4th place, and when Malcolm got 4th place, and Ozzy was right there in South Pacific, like what did they need to do to actually win the game? Win one immunity challenge. It's not like 4th place is something, you made it this far, now you automatically get it. No, everyone had a chance to have immunity around their neck at the end. So for that reason alone, if he can just make it to 5, 4, just eke out a challenge, maybe win 3 in a row, maybe win 5 in a row,
Hey,
we've seen stuff like that happen before. So I got
Mike
Taylor
did
at
it.
6. Exactly.
Eric Reichenbach should have done it, and had he made final 2, he would have won.
Yeah,
like
Jenna won 2 in a row.
Jenna, it's doable. It happens on the show.
Chris in Vanuatu, I think he won the last 2. Brian Heidick in Thailand, I think he won the last 2, maybe even the last 3. I'm not sure. So you don't want to rely on that, but if you're that kind of player, you need to. So I think that could end up happening. So I got Taylor right there at 6.
All right, man. So we're into the favorites, as we're calling it. These are the favorites to win the game. And if all 5 of each of our people end up going out really early, then what does that say about us? But these are our favorites as of the Wednesday before the premiere.
That's right.
That's it. I'll start. Number 5, this is where I got Adam Klein. I think he's a favorite because he likes the show. I think he's a favorite because he is on a tribe where he could control people. I kind of talked about this already. Like, he could control people on his tribe. My biggest fear for him is a Spencer/Malcolm type thing where, people just don't let him get to the end. I just am scared that, he's going to have a run-in where people are just going to be like, no way we can keep this guy around anymore. And they're going to be able to pull one on him at some point eventually. Although I do think that, if you're a huge fan of the show, and it's probably, you're right, I should have had Hannah a little bit higher, being that she's a huge fan of the show. But, if you're a huge fan of the show, as long as you're not, coming out there like Cochran, where you're so terrified in your first episode, you're gonna have a hand up on a lot of these other people who aren't huge fans of the show. So I think that he has a really good chance to win. I think he knows what he has to do to win. It's just, I don't think that, he's the weakest of my favorites, just because I don't think people are gonna let him get there. He seems like a likable guy. By the way, he did get a confessional in the newest trailer for the season. It was on CBS. So he was the first confessional. So hey, maybe they're promoting him a little bit. Maybe this could be cool, but I just don't see people letting him get to the very end.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. That's why I had him at 7. He definitely has a shot. When we're pulling from him over here. I had him as the winner in my my boot list. I had him on my fantasy team. So good stuff, Adam. We're wishing you the best of luck, even though it has already happened.
Yes.
Okay. At number 5 for me, this is where I have CC. She was immediately kind of my first, kind of jumped off the page a little bit, or jumped off the screen when watching the cast videos. I've talked about it enough if people listen to other podcasts. I get good vibes from CC. She's kind of gone down as the preseason has gone on. Some other people have kind of shot up. Don't really have much else to say. She's, like you said, someone who can really benefit from her loudmouth tribe. She can hang out in the back. I think she will be able to read people. She's not physically threatening, but she doesn't seem like a liability. Just all these things that really make you a possible winner. I said kind of the same thing with Jeremy and for Second Chance. He's not this big threatening guy, but he's smart enough and can play a strategic game, and he can be social. So if you have all those qualities, then I think you're good to go. When's the last time a big challenge threat has actually won? I guess it was Mike. Just because he just ran through it. And then before that, Tyson was okay, but Cochran wasn't the greatest challenge.
Cochran did win challenges, but if you're looking challenge threat, you're thinking Ozzy.
The beast of the season, the challenge dominator of the season. They don't
Rob,
win that often.
Boston Rob.
Yeah, he was dominating everything that season.
Yeah. All right, so you're number 5. You got CC. Yeah. I'll go 4. You already talked about it. I got Michaela. Love Michaela. I really think that Michaela the more I look at this, the more I think that these tribes worked out in Michaela's favor. Like, I really think these tribes worked out in Michaela's favor. There's going to be a swap. She's not going to be the first target at her tribe. Like, there's going to be a swap, and she's got that older type personality where she can kind of communicate with older people. She can also communicate with younger people. I really like where Michaela's at here. So I got Michaela at 4. Probably should have her higher. I'm definitely probably overrating at least one of these people, but I know you are too. So we might have the same top 3.
Maybe. Well, because the thing is, I haven't made my winner pick yet, so I'm just gonna put my winner pick as number 1 for this. So I don't think this person maybe is the most likely. I mean, I guess I should if it's my winner pick, right? At number 4, I'm gonna go with Figgy. Figgy just keeps going up and up for me. The only problem is that it seems like she's kind of a big talker, but other than that, I mean, she's got good energy. Seems like she can make relationships and won't get voted out for being a threat. She seems like she's fit enough. We keep talking about these winner qualities. It's like I don't really have much else to talk about because that's talking about their likeliness to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Figgy.
Yeah, Figgy's the one that I feel like I'm completely overrating because I don't have her at 3 either. I actually have Figgy at 2. Which I was not expecting when these casts first came out. But like for some reason, she's just grown. I don't know what it is.
I almost went with her as my winner pick. I really did.
And like
I was like, wow, I don't want to pick Figgy.
A quick aside, I do a fantasy Survivor thing where like everybody picks like with 9 other people. No, listen to me. I do this with my family.
You didn't invite me to this?
Family and family friends. Dude, there's no openings. It's bad enough when the season is down to 18. Family and family friends. So this is what happens.
Man.
So we do it where you have to pick one guy and one girl each season. So like if you get the first pick, what you pick a girl, you get stuck with whatever guy's left at the end. So it is a snake draft, like whatever. My sister had the first pick. I didn't talk to my sister about Survivor at all. She didn't like talk to me about it. She picked Figgy, number 1. And I was like shocked. I'm like, I just did not see that coming. Like
I'm jealous. Like you need to kick one of your family members. How am I not family at this point?
I know, right? Like I mean, when it comes to Survivor, you should be. But my sister picked Figgy number 1, and like I didn't say anything to her. So maybe Figgy's growing on other people too. Maybe it's because like she's hot. I don't know. But Figgy, you went from like probably near the bottom tier for me when the cast assessment happened to like now, like you're my number 2, and I feel like I'm gonna regret putting you at number 2. But like, God, if that's right, like. That's awesome. Like Figgy's cool. I hope Figgy hangs around. My number 3.
Yeah, she might be a crush this season too.
She is definitely my crush already. I mean, she could totally suck when the season starts, and Michelle could be my crush. But like right now, Figgy's my crush.
Yeah, I could see Michelle turning it around big time for Phil.
I'm gonna end up marrying Michelle at some point. Just get ready. So number 3, I got Marie, and number 1, I got Chris. Mari. Love Mari. I think she's great. She's just like Michaela. She's on this tribe where they're younger, but she's got such like a Gen X personality to go with it. And like she can make it work with both sides. Like her a lot. Chris, that's my winner pick. God, that could be an awful winner pick.
I love the winner pick of Chris. Like the more you said it, I'm like, wow, I really think that's a good winner pick. Like if you hadn't picked Chris last week and I had sat on it, I would have gone Chris, I think. I really like Chris. I have him at number 2. I have Mari at 3. Only thing with Mari is it's gonna be really tough for her to like get to the end.
So you have Chris at 3 or Mari at 3?
I have Mari at 3, Chris at 2. So my winner pick. Phil knows.
Your winner pick
is Jay. I think Jay. I'll explain why. I kind of said it already with kind of the trio of Adam, Jay, and Taylor. I think Adam falls way to the strategic side. I think Taylor probably goes to the physical side. And Jay, like if Jay isn't the Ozzy and Malcolm physically, like in challenges and just dominates in that regard, then he has a really good shot. Because when you think about Ozzy and Malcolm, like, yeah, those were their big qualities, but that's what ended up really hurting them again. And Ozzy too. He'll come back. Everyone remembers them for dominating challenges and being these physical specimens. If Jay is kind of a more relaxed guy and he doesn't look that big, I mean, Taylor seems like the more athletic guy. and Taylor can take all the heat. And then you have like the big Gen Xers like Chris and Brett. If Jay can kind of not be a physical threat, I think he has a super good chance of winning. And that's what it'll come down to. If he's too much of a physical threat, then I'm totally off. But it seems like there are a lot of other threats out here. And it seems like I'm frozen. I'm now definitely frozen. But yeah.
I froze or you froze?
I definitely froze, right? Or no?
I couldn't hear you. I don't know if it was you or me, though. It might have been my internet that time. But I couldn't hear you. Just when you're making your big epic speech about Jay, all goes out the window.
Oh, I don't know how much you missed. Essentially, if he can not be a physical threat, like if he is kind of a chill guy who's not like this physical specimen, because maybe like Taylor is the big beast or Chris or Brett, if he can kind of hang back and just be the social young millennial kid who's actually really social and not a liability in challenges, but not the stud, then I think he can find his way in the middle and get to the end. You look at someone like Aris, I think he could, if he leans more Aris than he leans out Ozzy or Malcolm, I really like his chances.
Yeah, because Aris won and Ozzy and Malcolm didn't. But no, yeah. I liked Jay a lot, like right from the beginning, and I'm glad that it grew on you. I just think it's funny, like Chris, Mari, Figgy, those are three people that we probably would not have had as high as we do had we not done this podcast together. Like we've definitely convinced each other that those three people should be as high as they are.
I don't know.
Mari maybe, but
really
Figgy and Chris, I don't think so.
Chris, I don't know. I watched some stuff. I really did like Chris, and I know that was after you said stuff. I really think I was always kind of a fan.
I think in the cast assessment, I said he had no chance to win.
Really?
I might have.
No, you didn't. We'll have to rewatch it. I don't think so.
I said so.
Anyway, let's get to some comments here. We got to put this podcast to sleep. I don't think this is definitely not the most exciting podcast, but again, we're 1 week away. We're excited for the season to start.
All right, let's go. Of course, Ann Curtis, Gamer Girl. When do you think we'll get the official Millennials versus Gen X intro? I was expecting it today. I don't know.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they won't. They have to do it. They've done it the last couple seasons. I don't know though. Ann Curtis, who from Vanuatu was more irritating, Mia or Eliza? Will, just answer it with one word.
Who is Mia? I don't even remember her.
Well, then answer it with one word.
I mean, Eliza.
There you go. That's the only word you needed to say, obviously.
I know, but you said that. You said when you ask someone to say one word, like, no, I'm not going to say one word.
No, obviously. That would be stupid of you. Giovanni Oriana, do you think season 33 will merge at 13 like in Cambodia? I don't know. I think we might get a little bit later of a merge this time. For some reason. I don't know.
See, in my fan fiction for the Bootless game, I went they divided the 3 tribes at 15 and then went down to 12, stayed in their 3 tribes, and then merged to 1 tribe from 3. That could happen.
Yeah, it could, which would be interesting, and it would be a first. Giovanni Oriana, do you guys watch South Park? And if so, do you know that season 20 is airing tonight? I don't watch it religiously, but man,
I was planning on watching. Yeah,
that Kaepernick thing was really funny. I thought that was funny. Anyway,
absolutely.
Moving on. Larry Miller, I rewatched your worst finalist podcast. Why do you hate Eliza? Just curious. She is awful on social media. That's why I don't like Eliza.
That's not why.
That's why I don't like her. I didn't mind her in the game. I like that she was an underdog. Outside of the game, God, she drives me nuts.
She's just a blabbermouth. If you can't stop
she just tries way too hard. And I'm noticing
to be funny
now in the game, and no, not even to be funny. She tries so hard to like ruin people. Like, oh, you said this, your life should be over. And I'm just like, Eliza, like you were on Survivor 10 years ago. Go home. Like, go home. I don't know. She drives me nuts. I'm not an Eliza fan at all.
Oh God, have you ever watched one of like Rob Has a Podcast when they do the live know-it-alls? She always hogs the mic, like swears, and when it's a friendly show, like just does all these awful attention-grabbing things just to build herself up.
Yeah,
and she wasn't good at the game at all. She was not good.
Larry Miller, can you guys read tweets from the actual Survivor players? We might We could probably do some of that this season, like if we find something interesting. I know every now and then we'll mention that.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's more about you guys. Larry Miller, Will, how do you think your edit will be this season? Will be a Russell and dominate, or get a Purple Kelly edit?
I don't think either.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be kind of a, hey, I love Survivor.
It's going to be the Spencer from Token Chains, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm young. Voted out. Okay, goodbye.
Whoa, I'm a millennial. How do I believe about life?
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, who is most likely to quit the game? That's a fun question.
That is a fun question. I'm going to go with Rachel.
Oh, man, probably because she reminds you of Julie from San Juan del Sur, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, and because I complimented her in this episode and it didn't quite feel right, I'm going to go with Michelle.
There you go. Good one.
Thanks. Because I have no idea. Because the people who quit, you don't really ever expect it. Giovanni Oriana, which player would you be happy to surprise you in terms of gameplay and strategy? Coming off my last comment, I'll say Michelle.
I'd be really happy to see Paul be like a mastermind strategist. That would really be awesome.
You know, Paul could be, you know, that's like another thing. Like, Paul's got like that Big Tom type personality. At least that's how it seems. A lot of people forget Big Tom was a pretty good Survivor player in Africa. Like, he was pretty good at it. You know, especially for those early seasons. Like, Big Tom's not, he wasn't just a buffoon running around on the island. Like, Big Tom Kim Johnson said it best. Big Tom, everybody thinks that he's just some idiot. He's got him right where he wants him. Big Tom is not an idiot. And that, if Paul can play like that, that would be cool. I agree with you.
No, I mean, I don't even mean like Big Tom. I mean like he comes out and he's like Spencer or Cochran or Steven. And he's like crunching numbers and like talking about splitting votes and all that. That would be really fun to see. Behind this like facade of just like a Big Tom facade, but inside he's like Todd, you know, just like wheeling a deal.
I got you. I hear you. Larry Miller, what did you really think of The Room, and did you watch the Nostalgia Critics review of it? I've never seen the review of it, but I've watched The Room about 30 times in my life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You never seen the Tommy Wiseau movie?
No.
Wow, dude, you're actually missing out. It's probably the greatest movie ever made.
I was probably watching Survivor when I should have been watching that.
You should watch that probably once a week. Dating tip with Phil and Will, The Room is a great date night movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great group date movie too. Like, it's a great group date, single date. I mean, that really shows off your personality. And if the girl doesn't like that movie, if the guy doesn't like that movie, depending on what you are, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, if you're whatever.
So you're telling if
they don't like it, get rid of them.
If someone doesn't like this movie, you cannot date them.
No, I can't.
Interesting.
You should really look at this movie. It's fantastic.
Well, maybe I'll watch it this weekend with a date.
Whoa.
Maybe you can join and have a group date with me, Phil.
See? Hey, dating tips with Phil and Will. We've already got girls lined up because we mentioned that The Room. You need to look up The Room. Anyway, moving on. And Curtis. Phil, I also like Jay. Not as much as I like Taylor, but Jay's a cool dude. Jay is like Fabio. Taylor's like Benry. I really think that.
And which one won? And who won?
This is what I was going to say. I think at heart, this is why you really picked Jay as your winner pick, because you weren't sure, but he reminds you so much of Fabio.
I mean, he's the player that if he doesn't become like the dominant young stud that we see so many times on the show, if he doesn't become that guy and he becomes the RS, the Fabio, even though those two guys aren't the same, but they're smart young guys, young males. Those are two people that I've won. I mean, Todd was pretty young, I think, when he won. I know he's more of a strategist, but if Jake has like a brain, and I think he does, I really think like Jay has like a social awareness and like just can kind of fit in. He can really ride that all the way to the end.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, I like Jay a lot. I just worry that, like, Larry Miller, I disagree with Gamer Girl. Jay is like Joe Anglin, but boring, and Taylor is a combination of Drew and Alec. They can never win. We'll see.
We'll have to. I mean, we could be. Yeah, that could be possible. I haven't seen Alec or Drew vibes from Taylor yet. He seems, I think, way different. I think he's smarter than both of those people combined.
And last Twitter comment, Larry Miller, can you both shout Anthony like Rocky did in Fiji? I don't do these types of things, but I know Will likes to do these types of things. So go ahead, Will, if you want.
I forget. How did who do what?
How did the way Rocky shouted Anthony?
Anthony!
Oh, God. Jesus. Thanks, guys. I'm the one wearing the headphones. I had to listen to that really loud. Yeah, thanks for that, Larry Miller. All right, moving on over to YouTube. Kelly Brown, how long has Survivor been renewed for? I believe just this season in 34, right? But like they always come out with it later.
Yeah, we have up till 34, but there's nothing to suggest that it won't be picked up for 35 and 36.
Yes.
Nothing to suggest that.
Nothing. And plus, we haven't been on it yet. So until we're on it, it's not over. Giovanni Oriana, Paul will be lucky if he can get 4th or 5th place like Keith and Big Tom. I think so. I agree. Total Drama Survivor fan. This is going to sound horrible, but her face in the cast photo looks like resting bitch face. I'm talking about Lucy. I mean, she has a bit of that, but there's some very nice people with resting bitch face. It's just an unlucky.
The photo I'm looking at,
face.
it's got a big smile and looks very welcoming. That's a different photo I think I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's different than the one that Gordon Holmes and everybody have. The one that they have, she's just like looks like she's gonna kill somebody.
She might, dude. She seems vicious.
Let's see. Giovanni Oriana, I think you're being too hard on Hannah, Phil. You say she may not win, but everyone didn't think Michelle was going to win last season, and you picked her as your winner pick. Yes, because I was right. So you just proved that I'm being right about Hannah. Because
yeah, it's not like, I don't know. That argument doesn't work. Yeah, you can't use Phil to argue against Phil.
Yeah, I also did have Hannah on my fantasy team. I'm a Hannah fan. It's a hard thing when you know 3 minutes about these people. I just know Sunday and Paul aren't going to win. From Hannah on, that wouldn't shock me. I mean, it would shock me for some of them, but not completely. Jason Obermeyer, 2 questions. 1, favorite Survivor player. 2, where would you rank these players as winners? Rob C., Cerise, Steven, Coach Ozzy, Tina, Blood vs. Water, Spencer. Go look, Jason Obermeyer, for the second question. We actually do have an entire podcast, and I don't want to contradict ourselves, which we do plenty, dedicated to the best players to not win. And you will get to find out exactly where we think Rob C., Cerise, Steven, and Coach and Ozzy stand. Tina, not on there.
Is Rodney in there?
No Rodney.
Gotta watch out for Rodney.
Yeah.
Great player.
Isaac Samayo. I'll never get that. Tell me how to say your name. I agree Will has no chance of winning. I would also not give an 18-year-old $1 million. Hey, that's what I'm saying. And like the thing is,
I would.
The thing is, like, if Will gets to the end, his whole argument is be like, look, I'm 18, like I like deserve this. And like everybody's gonna be like, stop telling me what you deserve, you 18-year-old. Like, leave me alone. So I think he's screwed. Isaac Samayo, my bottom 5 are Rachel, Paul, Will, Lucy, and David. I mean,
hey, that sounds like my bottom.
Except no Sunday. Giovanni Oriana, note to self, don't play until I turn at least 22 to be able to get people to win the game. LOL. Hey, Fabio won at 20, I think, and Aris won at 21. Were they both 21? They were both 21?
Yeah.
Aris and
How
Fabio.
old is Jay?
Jay's 24.
Jay's 26.
Oh, really? Oh, Taylor's 24.
Figgy is 21.
Wow. So there you go. There's your winner of the season.
And those are the past. It's funny we keep saying Aris and Fabio. Those are the only 2 seasons that have divided tribes by age. So, so maybe we are looking at another. A Jay again is getting points here, and that also goes up for Figgy as well. 21.
That's an interesting point. Will, that was very good analyzing there. I'm impressed with that one. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we don't do much thinking on this. We just talk.
Yeah. Whatever comes out of our mouths, that's what comes out of our mouths.
Exactly.
Giovanni Oriana, Rob hogged the screen time in Redemption Island.
Yeah.
He did. He also gives his rankings for his bottom 5 and his top 5. I'll just say his top 5 he has Mari, Adam, Chris, Zeke, and Michaela. So he's got Zeke in his top 5. No Figgy.
Yeah.
No Figgy. Matt Warpecha, his bottom 5, he's got Brett and Mari in there. Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's shocking. And his top 5, he's got Zeke, Jessica Lewis, Michaela, Adam, and Chris.
I like that. It's all top 5.
Yeah. Jason Obermeyer, what's the best final 2-3 and the worst final 2-3? Which scenario do you prefer? I guess he's talking not this season, or is he talking this season?
I think he is talking this season.
Like, what would be the best final 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think the best final 2 would be Paul versus Sunday, and Phil and I would just turn off we wouldn't stop podcasting.
I would
have a
say
lot more free time.
Best final 2 is Adam and Jessica Lewis, because Adam watches us and Jessica Lewis retweeted us. So therefore, that would be the best final 2, because then they both like us. The worst final 2.
What? Those are 2 pretty lame answers.
No. But the worst final 2 would be Michelle against anyone, because Michelle's there. So
wow.
Am I being
Michelle versus Lucy?
Now, in all seriousness, probably the best final 2 would be I'd like to see Adam in the final 2, and I would like to see Figgy in the final 2.
I would see
maybe Hannah for the final 3.
Maybe Adam versus Chris.
Yeah. Worst final 2.
Brett versus Zeke or something.
Yeah, I don't want to see a final 3 that's Sunday,
Will,
and then
Biggie.
the obvious winner. Yeah, I don't want to see that. So that would be a bad case scenario. If you're talking in terms of ever, the worst final 2 is Marquesas, and the best final 2 or 3 is, I don't know. Tocantins, probably.
China,
definitely China. China was the best final 3 by far. Yeah, Todd, Courtney, and Amanda, fantastic. Cheap plug for my fantasy booking video. That's from Wences Acosta. Next, Wences Acosta. Figgy is the most likely to quit. That would really screw both of us, and that would make me feel sad.
Right.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for the helpful advice on how to read faster. Wences Acosta. As a gay man, I can vouch that The Room is a great date movie, comparing Tommy to such greats as Nicolas Cage. The drama is a cuddle scenario, and it helps that we take shots scene to scene. I'm telling you, dude, it is a great date movie, Will. Great date movie. That's the best advice you're ever going to get from Phil and Will. Wences Acosta.
That's not a dating tip from Phil and Will. That's just a dating tip from Phil.
Just take it as a dating tip. When I'm hosting The Bachelor next year, because of this dating tip, just remember, you guys heard it here first. Wences Acosta, I do thank you guys for being a highlight on my YouTube after a crappy day working at Walmart. Seeing the live stream made my night. Gracias, senors. Thank you, Wences. That's a great way to end this podcast and a great way to end the preseason.
That's a great way. Wow. Thanks for that comment. It's also a highlight of my day after working too.
Yeah.
So everyone's having fun. That does wrap it up. Wraps up the preseason. Getting excited for the premiere next week. Again, get those boot lists, get those prop bets in. If you think the prop bet is somehow too complicated, it really isn't. I'm sure everyone making it this far, though, in the podcast has already submitted a prop bet. Maybe they've even made fake accounts and submitted 3. Who knows? Phil, do you have anything else?
No, we'll see you next Wednesday for the Survivor Season 33 premiere.
That's right. See you then.